Hello, thank you for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Taiwo Ozoma. Let's start with the headlines. Senate confirms General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense. Libya to tighten its grip on irregular migration, announces plans to scale up repatriation flights. And European Union takes its most decisive step to disassociate itself from Russia's energy grip completely. The National Economic Council has approved 100 billion naira subject to a final ratification by President Bola Tinubu for rehabilitation of training institutions for police and other security agencies in Nigeria. This followed recommendations by the ad hoc committee earlier constituted to assess the state of police and security agencies training institutions nationwide. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jabrila reports.
President Tinubu had, at the 152nd meeting of the National Economic Council in October 2025, proposed the overhaul and revamp of training institutions for security agencies nationwide. Chairman of the ad hoc committee and Governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, had in his presentation to Council underscored the urgency and significance of the condition of the training facilities, saying most of the training institutions are in their condition.
What we did as a committee is to segment the 55 institutions, identifying 25 of those locations in the first phase. Those 25 locations are the training schools and the training colleges. Because of the urgency and because of where we are in terms of security in the country today, we felt that those locations that can absorb and train the recruitment that the president has approved, the 30,000 and just recently additional 20,000 recruitment. We thought that we should focus on the training institution.
And I will call on our colleagues to kindly and immediately approve an amount that will make Governor Peter Mba and his team to swing into action and start addressing our core challenges, especially in fixing the training facilities, for instance, mentioned by the Governor of Nasarawa State.
To not be out of place, IVNEC recommends that each state should have a training facility for the police, especially with the clamor for the establishment of state police, which apparently is becoming a necessity, considering the dire need that we have and also the security situation at the moment.
The ad hoc committee on polio eradication also gave an update by the chairman, Gombe State Governor Inwe Ahia, noting that the committee has met 4 times between June and November 2025, deepening political commitment, strengthened coordination, and ensured that states remain firmly engaged in the national push to interrupt the remaining variant polio virus transmission. The Minister of State Petroleum Gas made a presentation on the cost and availability of domestic gas, particularly the payment of outstanding obligations to gas producers to encourage increased production and supply for domestic consumption. Approving the committee's prayers to, among other things, concur with President Bola Tinubu's approval for the payment of the outstanding obligations to the tune of 185 billion naira to gas producers to ensure improved supply of gas for domestic production. Vice President Kashim Shettima also charged the governors of the 36 states of the Federation to ensure that economic reforms by the state governments translates into clear, measurable improvements in the lives of Nigerians. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Senate has confirmed the appointment of General Christopher Musa as the Minister of Defense. The exercise was accelerated as the screening took place this Wednesday, immediately after the request later for the confirmation was read at plenary. two unanimous resolutions that stood out. The exercise where the killings must stop and no more ransom payments to kidnappers.
As soon as you take over, visit the defense industries. We would like a situation whereby we don't import everything, including bullets. Nigeria should at least be able to make bullets if we cannot make intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Put some basic things in place. Something as simple as a database for all citizens. So I think that's one area that we need to be, so that we can also assist the security forces, and even developmentally, we need to know the number of people in particular areas so that we can know whether we have markets or schools or hospitals in those areas. I think it's important that we must have a comprehensive database, and not the database that immigration will be having, quarantine will be having, police is having something. No, we need a unified one that will be able to carry, so that when you commit a crime, it's easier to track you. Working together with my team, we are going to make sure that we make a difference. And I can show you within the shortest possible time, sir, Nigerians will see that change. The trust they have in us will never let them down.
General Musa was nominated on Monday by President Tinubu following the resignation of Badaru Abubakar. In line with her conviction that the nation grows stronger when every individual is empowered to contribute meaningfully, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has provided a financial support of 200,000 naira to 9,500 persons with disabilities across the country. She flagged off the disbursement with 250 persons with disability, military and police veterans at Mambila Barracks, Abuja, to mark this year's International Day for Persons with Disability. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
They walk under the weight of their disabilities, unbowed but hopeful for a society rich in empathy. On a day dedicated to them, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu joins the celebration bearing gifts. Under the social investment scheme of the Renewed Hope Initiative, a total of 9,500 persons with disabilities across the country received a financial support of 200,000 naira each to recapitalize their existing businesses. Flagging off the disbursement at the Mambila Barracks, Abuja, for 250 physically challenged veterans from the military and police, the First Lady says fostering a disability-inclusive society is a sure pathway to advancing social progress.
A truly inclusive society is built when we stand together, creating opportunities that empower everyone to contribute their unique gifts to our collective progress.
Since it was initiated in 2023, the Renewed Hope Initiative, through the Business Capitalization Scheme, has strengthened over 100,000 businesses, including persons with disabilities with grants. There is more to come, says the First Lady.
In recognition of our shared responsibility to promote inclusion, the governing board of the Renewed Hope Initiative has resolved to make the Economic Empowerment Program for Persons with Disability an annual event to be held on December 3rd. To all our beneficiaries, I encourage you to make good use of this opportunity. Let it be a seed that grows into something greater, a business that sustains you and your family.
For the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, who was represented, the intervention is a clear demonstration of compassion in action.
By equipping beneficiaries to expand or sustain their small businesses, this initiative lays a foundation for sustainable livelihood.
On behalf of the entire Depower family, I reaffirm our commitment to complementing your vision by advancing programs that uplift, empower, and restore dignity to families within the armed forces and police communities.
It can go a long way for me to help my wife in assisting our business, to help me too.
I will pay my children's school fees and I will take care of my health.
This provision of financial support to people with disabilities echoes past and ongoing interventions by Renewed Hope Initiative under its social investment scheme, and that includes medical and food outreach across states. With this, the First Lady is passing a strong message of social empathy and economic inclusion for the vulnerable in the society. From the Alero Aziza Event Center in Mambila Barracks, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
To further commemorate the International Day for Persons with Disability, the federal government has taken major steps towards improving access to quality education for children with special needs. Education stakeholders across Nigeria have convened to develop a national inclusive education implementation framework aimed at transforming service delivery in basic education institutions nationwide. The framework under development is expected to address gaps such as teachers training on inclusive pedagogy, provision of assistive learning devices, early identification and assessment of learners with special needs, community awareness and establishment of inclusive friendly school environment.
Over the years, we've made progress, but our efforts have been fragmented. The lack of coordination between stakeholders has hindered our progress. We must address this gap and develop a unified strategy for inclusive education in this country.
Every Nigerian child, regardless of their challenge, should have the opportunity to learn, to thrive, and to contribute meaningfully to our nation.
And for persons with disability, we clamor for these societies where they can have equal rights and participation alongside.
Need for increased funding and strict accountability mechanisms to ensure that inclusive education goals are met. 3 Nigerians who were arrested in August 2025 at King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, have been released from detention by Saudi authorities over luggage linked to criminal syndicates. The Nigerians were Abdulhamid Sadiq, Mariam Abdullahi and Bahija Abdullahi. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, in a statement explained that prohibited substances were fraudulently attached to their air tickets by criminal syndicates at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport without the knowledge of the passengers. Through diplomatic channels, Nigeria's consulate in Jeddah provided legal support and worked closely with National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in the investigation, and the mission maintained regular contact with Saudi authorities as well as conducted prison visits. After thorough investigations, the Saudi authorities cleared the Nigerians of all wrongdoings and released them on September 14 and 15, 2025. Yusuf Tugar says a travel ban was, however, imposed, and currently the travel ban on Abdulhamid Sadiq was lifted. That was on December 2nd, 2025, and arrangements for his return are ongoing, while recalling that Mariam Abdullahi and Bahija Abdullahi returned to Nigeria on November 5, 2025. The minister commends the professionalism of Saudi authorities and notes that the release reflects Nigeria's commitment to protecting its citizens abroad, as enshrined in the 4D doctrine of President Bola Tinubu. 3 young Nigerian artists are among 33 others from across West Africa who are aiming to turn arts into a cultural tool for peace and economic transformation. At the EcoFest exhibition night in Dakar, Senegal, what were on display, we hear, reflected a deep understanding of the complexity of both the myriad of challenges and the way out of them. Kelvin Ehunwahi reports.
It was a night of arts in Dakar. ECOWAS and WEMAL officials, art enthusiasts, and participants from the 12 ECOWAS member states converged on the Senegalese National Gallery of Arts and Culture. It was an art exhibition and competition featuring young artists from the sub-region. Their works centered on the theme of EcoFest, political crisis in West Africa, What can culture do? From the message of diverse culture in Nigeria, symbolic beauty of the Ghanaian fabrics, and the strength of the Gambia and Cavadian tourism, all captured in creative paintings and sculpture, depicting the vast creative potential among young people in the sub-region.
Today's world, the creative industry is one of the most fast-growing industry. Look at just the music, the Afrobeat, Nigeria. Look at Bollywood, Nollywood. I mean, football is also part of the creative industry. Look at what is happening today in the social media. You know, the TikTok, the talent that is being demonstrated, and the amount of creativity, the amount of income that is being generated. So definitely, with the right infrastructure, with the right policies, the right strategy, and the right financing, I think the young people have a bright future ahead.
3 Nigerian artists were among the exhibitors. 2 works are insecurity related, showcasing impact on farming communities, while one centered around the enduring nature of the traditional institution in northern Nigeria.
Through this work, I can create an awareness as to what is happening in the country and to also urge the government to do something about it.
It's about men and the struggle. So in this work, I am looking at how if the men do not fight, the children will not learn how to fight its seasons.
The assessors and judges went around the works, with final verdict expected at the closing ceremony of EcoFest this weekend. In Dakar, Senegal, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Dangote Petroleum Refineries and Petrochemicals confirms and reaffirms commitment to supply Nigerian domestic PMS requirements. Dangote Refinery is ready and able to supply 1.5 billion litres of PMS per month, followed by 1.7 billion litres per month from February 2026 onwards. Dangote Refinery seeks the support of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to host its officials on site at our refinery from 1st December to validate and publish our daily supply volumes. In the spirit of full transparency to the public, we are willing to publish our daily production and stock volumes online and in the print media. We seek the full support of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to allow Dangote Refinery to import crude, feedstock, and blending components unhindered, as well as support the lifting of our products by vessel. We continue to experience delays in vessel clearance, which impacts not only the refinery operations but also our customers, adding unnecessary costs and inefficiencies. We will appreciate your usual consideration and support to secure Nigeria's domestic fuel security and abundance. Allow the Nigeria First policy to work to the benefit of all Nigerians. Announcer David Bird, Executive Officer, Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals, FZE.
Thank you for staying tuned. Our next report also reflects celebration for the International Day for Persons with Disability. Let's see that.
Disability is not a barrier to success. It is merely a different way of being and a different way of tackling challenges. NTA Knowledge joins the global community to celebrate its 4th edition of International Day of Persons with Disabilities at the NTA Headquarters Arena. This year's theme, Fostering Disability, Inclusive Societies for Advancing Social Progress. The General Manager, NTA Knowledge, Bukola da Silva, in her opening remarks, acknowledged the presence of everyone and emphasized on the need to work together to create a world that is inclusive and accessible to all.
Celebrate the abilities and contributions of people with disabilities. We recognize the challenges often faced by this category of people and challenges they still face. They've always shown resilience, and this is one of the reasons we are appreciating them and celebrating them today.
Representative of the Director General, NTA, Saadatu Suleiman, spoke on giving voice to the marginalized.
Through initiatives like this, the NTA remains committed to giving voice to the marginalized, promoting equal opportunities and strengthening the national conversation on disability rights. As we mark this important day, let us all pledge to create communities that embrace diversity, uphold accessibility, and offer support so that no one is left behind.
There were presentations by the children. There were also goodwill messages by guests and donors, plus a special message by a disability advocate, Dr. Chike Okogo.
Persons with disability are not a population to be pitied or sidelined. They are innovators, leaders, caregivers, public servants, creative, and contributors.
Martin Luther King again it was that said, "I have a dream that one day our children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." What did you spell? Congratulations.
The historic return of Nigeria into Category C of the International Maritime Organization Council for the 2026 to 2027 biennium following her election on 28th November 2025 not only marks the country's triumphant return to the Council after a 14-year absence, but also restores the nation to global reckoning among the Committee of Maritime States. Chukunonso Nwabweze reports.
The joyous mood of the Nigerian delegation to the recently concluded International Maritime Organization's 176th General Assembly says it all about the importance of the nation's return to the Global Maritime Governing Bodies Council after 14 years of absence. Nigeria's emergence as one of the 20 Category C Council members of IMO is the outcome of 12 months of intensive diplomatic shuttles across various countries and maritime blocs. The victory is also a vote of confidence in Nigeria's maritime reforms, her security efforts in the Gulf of Guinea, as well as the bold vision of the federal government to unlock the full potential of the marine and blue economy.
And very important, there has also been reform about port modernization, which Nigeria has invested significantly to modernize the port. I believe once we modernize these ports, it's very important, we are going to reap the fruits by ensuring that our ports are efficient. The average waiting time of the vessel is going to reduce. The turnaround times of the vessel is going to increase.
With the election, Nigeria joins 19 other nations in Category C. The nations are recognized for their special interest in maritime transport and navigation and selected to ensure balanced geographical representation within the IMO Council.
This election is going to place Nigeria in a strategic position that they will be involved in decision making. That is a significant step. And then the most important aspect is Nigeria has also been part of most of the IMO regulations all through the year. There has not been any major significant near miss.
Countries elected into Category B, representing nations with the largest interest in international seaborne trade, are Australia, Brazil, Canada, France, Germany, India, Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and the United Arab Emirates. Category A, comprising the world's leading providers of international shipping services, has China, Greece, Italy, Japan, Norway, Panama, Republic of Korea, the United Kingdom, the United States, with Liberia as only African country on the list.
Nigeria's return to the IMO Council is not only expected to bring significant benefits to the country's marine and blue economy, but also provides an opportunity for the nation to contribute meaningfully to shaping the future of global shipping, maritime safety, and sustainable ocean governance. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
Thank you, Chukunonso. In other news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has underscored the crucial role of engineers in shaping Nigeria's future, insisting that the country's development trajectory depends largely on the strength and quality of its engineering profession. This was at the Nigerian Society of Engineers International Engineering Conference and Annual General Meeting in Ibadan. Usman Zubairu reports.
The 34th International Conference, Exhibition and Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Society of Engineers is an annual event that brings together engineers, policymakers, academics, and industry leaders to share knowledge, enhance professional development, discuss policy, and showcase innovations. With the theme Engineering Innovation for a Sustainable Blue Economy, the conference is designed to advance the engineering profession and contribute to Nigeria's technological and economic development. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by the Minister of State for Works, Bello Muhammad Gwaranyu, commended the Nigerian Society of Engineers for its long-standing contribution to national development, describing the body as a stabilizing force that consistently upholds professional standards, drives innovation, and builds technical capacity within the sector.
Administration, therefore, have expanded the scope of the ongoing federal roads construction to ensure durability by introducing concrete roads so that our roads can last for more than 50 years and beyond.
We have remained deeply committed to the progress and prosperity of our country, ensuring that engineering practice continues to serve as a catalyst for national development.
The President noted that the conference team aligns strongly with his administration renewal agenda, which prioritizes improvements in roads and housing infrastructure, power supply, agriculture system, water resources project, digital technology, and modern transportation networks. While congratulating the society on a successful conference, urged participants to embrace emerging technologies, explore new ideas, and leverage collaborations that will further strengthen the nation's engineering capacity. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to transforming Nigeria's water and sanitation landscape, expand irrigation, food production, and harness water resources for clean energy generation. This commitment was restated by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, at a one-day citizen and stakeholders engagement on the achievements of the ministry's projects and programs. Once again, let's hear from Usman Zubairu.
This engagement is designed to promote transparency, accountability, and inclusive growth, providing a platform for stakeholders to engage with the ministry on its progress and challenges. The ministry's efforts were highlighted by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, who provided a comprehensive update on the implementation presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables in the areas of water supply, sanitation, irrigation, food security, and flood management control. In dams and reservoir operation, the minister said the Kashim Mambila multipurpose dam, one of the Nigerian's flagship projects, is now fully completed with its 40-megawatt hydropower facility supplying power to the national grid. With the Gurara and Dadinkuwa dams, these projects now generate a combined 110 megawatts of renewable energy. In the area of irrigation and food security, the Dadinkuwa irrigation scheme in Gombe State provide over 2,000 hectares of irrigable lands directly to farmers, while the Middle Rima Valley irrigation project in Sokoto State has also been completed. In the water supply and sanitation subsector, the federal government has constructed and rehabilitated more than 6,700 water schemes nationwide, delivering safe drinking water to over 32 million Nigerians.
Over the past 2 years, we have worked tirelessly to transform Nigeria's water and sanitation landscape, to expand irrigation, food production, and to harness water resources for clean energy generation.
The event had in attendance industry players, civil society organizations, and development partners, creating an opportunity for stakeholders to clarify some grey areas. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
And we're done with the news. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Taiwo Ozoma.